players that come out. And so as one of the industry players, we of course want to trade between the fiat and the blockchain assets so easily.
So I think that a few of the audience here are working for like crypto industry or like are very interested in. So this question might be very interesting. So is there any opportunity to partner with in your respective sectors? So like what kind of players in the ecosystem can be exchange partner? For example, like Binance like acquired like wallet services. So like maybe from the Zeniex, like yeah. So Zeniex like Coinmanager, like yeah, and we're Ariel. Right.
I think it's a very fitting question because Coinmanager, senior manager sitting right beside me. So we've partnered with Coinmanager and their wallet service Clay. In the past few weeks it was announced. What we're doing with Clay initially is that, as some of you may know from the audience, we have Zeniex issued a fund token. So as part of what I've been saying with my presentation, we're planning much more to tokenize the assets in the crypto market and also in the non-crypto market. And what we've chosen to do as our first step is to tokenize a crypto fund. So right now there are many crypto funds in the industry. So what they do is they take money from LP or investor, and they're the fund manager, and they will invest. And then if they do well, they'll give more money to the investor. That's the basic flow of things. But what we've done is the crypto fund is tokenized so that it will be listed and traded between the holders. And if you are a holder of the token, a fund token, then you basically have an equity stake. You have a share in the fund. So when the fund is due and in maturity, you will get your Ethereum back when it's within its increased value. So that's the fund token that we've put out. And the second fund token that we'll put out, we're partnering up with Clay to do it. We will not only partner up with Clay in doing the fundraising stage of the fund token, so it'll be divided in stages. We'll also do fundraising, a public sale on our platform and also on Clay. And then once it's listed, the users can also do the trading on our platform as well as on Clay, and then as they provide the API connection service. So I think, thank you for the question.
Yeah, thank you for questions as well. Yeah, I think wallet providers is a very good example for partnering with the exchanges, because in other ways, for example, we are operating Ontology wallet, and there is a reason that Ontology wallet is needed for investors, because Ontology, for example, Ontology offers various features about their blockchain, like voting or the other consensus thing, and the other KYC, and the others many services regarding blockchain. For example, airdrop. But exchanges cannot take all the services for the blockchain, or many of the other tokens are the dApps. So yeah, investors need to use the dApp, but exchanges cannot do all the things. So wallets can be a very good gateway for the investors to use the dApp with their tokens. And yeah, so in that way, we are offering exchange wallets other than Ethereum and Ontology wallets, so making very easy to withdraw from one exchanges to my blockchain wallets and one to one another. So yeah, making gateway and making fundamental transactions and use cases for the investors, for the dApps and the other real concepts of the tokens. So, Yeah, for Line, we partner up with a variety of industry players, starting from wallet services. We're working with BitGo on certain tokens that we provide. We currently provide around 29 tokens right now, and a portion of it is from BitGo. And we also work with industry players in the insurance space, SMPA plus insurers that actually are securing or insuring our users' funds. And we also have been working with coin projects like Icon. So one of our sister companies called Unblock has made a joint venture with Icon and made an entity called Unchain. And we recently are working on creating our Line blockchain, which is called Link Chain. And we even have a token that is actually issued by Line Tech Plus called Link, which we're actually going to be even exclusively listing next week on the 16th. Yeah.
From the exchange perspective, again, it's about liquidity. So it's like 10, 15 years ago when I look at the equities, it's very fragmented. Everyone has its own little liquidity pool. So several investment banks has the idea, basically one, to invest liquidity aggregation to build up the black dog pool within the investment bank. Second, to actually invest in consortium in the third-party exchange like the Liquidnet, Direct Edge, in competition with NYSE. So when you're looking at that kind of initiative, to all about bringing the liquidity to the exchange. So from our perspective, right now the priority is actually form alliance with other smaller liquidity providers, such as other exchanges. There are different regulatory issues with different countries, and then some countries probably made it easier for do fiat, but some countries made it easier to do crypto. It depends. So we actually reached across a broad scope of similar exchange providers to see whether we can bring the liquidity flow onto our order match engine, because we do build a pretty sophisticated order match that can handle high volume. So from a liquidity perspective, we're definitely strategic partner is around exchange, the institutional players who have large flows, where we can actually leverage our sophisticated order matching to bring the transparency, help them to bring down execution costs and the execution process. So that is one aspect, typical where you see almost every asset class, when you look at the exchange, they're always trying to bring the liquidity partner on their platform. Second, it goes back to each country's regulatory requirement. In the regulatory market, exchange is just about exchange, i.e. you build a massive system, you do order matching, you provide the best execution, the minimal slippage cost, but the rest of the things, such as the KYC, such as the client management, the product development, this is all part of the investment bank. Okay, that's one element of the value chain that deal with the customer. And then the later part of the trade processing, when it comes on the fiat, the payment, it goes into the custody, goes into the kind of clearing corporation. So to your point, again, one of the partners we're also looking at actively in the regulatory market is the custody trust type of partner that can actually manage the conversion between fiat and the cryptocurrency. This is actually really important from the being able to expand into the institutional world. To some extent, some of them will provide wallet service, but it's in the trust structure that actually will officiate the asset transfer. So this is the other type, the second type of partner that I'm actually actively looking to serve the institutional with the large ones. Right, and the third type of strategic partners, as I mentioned, is really looking at the blockchain technology projects that has really good business fundamental models that we're willing to grow with them, to provide incubator service, as well as to develop the platform with them, to give that platform for them to grow. Go back to the fundamental point about what this exchange does, is actually to help the project, help corporation to raise capital. This is another strategic partner that we're actively on the lookout for. Good projects, high quality projects, have very sound business model. Even if it's early stage, we're willing to work with them. And in the later stage, we're willing to actually provide them a lot of the listing and marketing services for them. And this is the third type of strategic type of partnership. Thank you.
네, 객석에서 질문을 딱 하나만 더 받으려고 하는데, 네.
예, 오신 분이 많아서 궁금해 제안하는 부분 하나 하고 궁금한 거 하나 여쭤볼게요. 지금 제가 실사용자로서 코인을 구매할 때 매우 불편한 점이 있습니다. 100% 그 비트로 구매를 할 때 100%로 구매를 하면은 구매가 되지 않습니다. 수수료적인 부분 때문에 취소가 됩니다. 그런 부분은 다른 거래소에서는 있을 수 없는 일입니다. 사용자가 일일이 개수를 맞춰서 구매를 해야 됩니다. 이 부분 꼭 고쳐주시기 바랍니다. 알고 계신 내용이시나요?
If you're talking about, we don't actually have fiat right now. So if you're talking about buying the Bitcoin using your own fiat currency, we can't have that capability. So what we have is a crypto to crypto. So you have to sell the other currency in order to buy the Bitcoin.
If he uses Bitcoin to buy a certain asset on the platform, and he wants to use up all the 100% of the Bitcoins, then the platform doesn't allow the user to count in the factor that there needs to be a fee. The fee needs to be included in the amount of the purchase. It's not calculated on the platform.
Okay, it's actually interesting. This is a good question that you brought up. And one is the system that we're actually building, hopefully next round will fix that. It is because crypto has many rounding. So they round it up to 6 or 8 digits. So when we're looking at the system that we're actually building at the beginning was actually only doing 4 digits. So as a part of the improving process, we're actually upgrading the system to be able to handle many digits beyond the 4 digits. So as a part of the system integration, we actually, because there are certain pair that has challenge, especially when you do Bitcoin versus a very small coin, and we actually put limits, making sure if there is any rounding issues, it doesn't affect you. So there are certain limits we put in. But as we're improving the system, we're actually going to, once we making sure that rounding decimal points go all the way up to 6, 8 digits accurately across the big token to small token, that limits will be pretty much lifted. Because that, I do know that issue. It's a rounding issue. From 4 digit, 6 digit, 8 digit. So in the equity system, it's pretty much 4 digit, that's it. So we have definitely seen issues. And then we have put some fix. And then we actually, in avoiding certain transaction error on both sides, we put certain limits in terms of how much you can do on Bitcoin side.
그 짧은 질문 마지막으로 비매코인 곧 오픈하실다고 11월에 말씀하셨는데 구매할 때 비트로 구매 가능한지 이드로 구매 가능한지 그 오픈하신 게 없으세요?
I think right now we are still kind of deciding whether we're going to base currency in Bitcoin or base currency in Ethereum because it's part of the economics. There is different volatility factors with Bitcoin and Ethereum. They're all different volatility factors. So you don't want to compound the volatility. So we're actually, it's a good question. It is part of the economics model we're assessing.
현장 질문은 시간 관계상 여기서 좀 마무리하도록 하고요. 더 질문이 있으신 분들은 세션이 끝난 다음에
개별적으로